Hello friends, I am Shilpi Arora and today we will discuss last chapter, the concluding chapter of our political science, that is challenges to democracy. So in these 2 years when we started our journey of democracy in class 9th and in class 10, we have discussed so many things about democracy, its meaning and its nature. Now there are certain challenges being faced by democracy all over the world. Whether a country is democracy or not, there are certain challenges, certain problems being faced by everyone. So in this chapter, we will be discussing some challenges, and our main concern is to suggest some reforms to for these problems. What measures can we take to reform these problems, these challenges? So we'll discuss this chapter, challenges to democracy. Okay, so before starting this chapter, there is a problem that we call it as a challenge. Challenge, what is a challenge? Because we are going to discuss 3 different challenges in this chapter. So we need to understand the meaning of the word challenge also. What is a challenge? Challenge is not just any problem. We generally call those difficulties a challenge which can be overcome. It means that it is a difficulty which has within it the opportunity for progress. See, if we sort out one problem, we go to another level. Yes, once we overcome a challenge, we go up to a higher level than before. That is how we achieve success. That is how we achieve progress. Okay. So, in this regard, we will be discussing the 3 different challenges faced by modern democracies in the world. See, most of the country, or we can say around 3/4 countries in the world, they are having democracies. A country having democracy does not mean that they're not having any problem. Yes, they are having problem. The countries which are not having democracies and countries which are having democracy, they all come across with the problems, with the challenges. So now, first we'll discuss a challenge which is being faced by the non-democratic country, non-democratic regime, or a country being ruled by military dictators. Yes, so that is known as foundational challenge. It means making transition. Transition means to change to democracy. See, when we make changes from non-democracy to democracy, it means we overcome this foundational challenge and to institute democratic government. So, to bring down existing non-democratic regimes, for that keeping military away from controlling government, and to make a country a sovereign and a functional state. What is a sovereign country? A country which is free from all types of external control. The country which has its own foreign policy, make policies to make link with other countries also, in a country where nobody from outside interfere in their internal matters. That is what we call a sovereign country. Okay. So, the first challenge is to keep military away, to avoid non-democratic government, and to make a country democratic, to make a country sovereign, to make a country a functional state, a state which is meant for people's welfare, to secure people's rights, to do welfare for its citizens. That what we call as foundational challenge. Okay. First major challenge being faced by most of the countries in the world, that is foundational challenge. Another challenge, that challenge of expansion and deepening, these two challenges are being faced by the established democratic countries. Even country like India also faces these challenges. What is that? Challenge of expansion. See, it involves applying basic principles of democratic government across all the regions, among social groups and various institutions. That basic principles of democratic government means to have free and fair elections, to have formal constitution, to have political parties, etc. So, these principles have to apply all over the regions, among different social groups, among various institutions. It means we have to include everyone in the democratic setup, and also should ensure greater power to local governments, extension of federal principles to all units of federation, and inclusion of women and minority groups. Children, do you remember the 1992 Act, which meant for giving more and more powers to local government in India, that we discussed in the chapter Federalism? Before 1992 Act, local government was not regular, elections were not mandatory, in some state local governments even were not functioned properly. So, after that act in our country, that local government was made more organized. So, even we had this challenge of expansion. So, we overcome that challenge by having 1992 Act. Then extension of federal principles to all units of federation. India is a federal country where we have given rights to every unit of the federation, every state. We have a separation of power between center and state. Yes, inclusion of women and minority groups. Still we face this challenge of including women on a large scale in our legislatures. Remember, I told you women reservation bill is still pending. Still we do not find more than 10% or more than 6% women in our union legislatures and state legislative assemblies respectively. Still we find women are not getting due representation in the union and state legislatures. So, we still face this challenge. And to give power to minority groups, yes, we are doing it in the form of reservation. SC and ST, we are given reservation. So, this challenge is being faced by the established democratic countries in the world also. And it also implies that less and less decisions should remain outside the arena of democratic control. What does that mean? It means that the decisions which are being taken by the government should be inside the arena of democratic control. People should be aware about the decision making, the policies on which the government wants to take decision. People should be aware about it, and there has to be a proper rules and regulations according to which a decision has to be taken. So, that is how we want that decision should remain inside the arena of democratic control. So, that is why we can say that this challenge of expansion is being faced by the established democracies in the world. Even one of the example I told you about India also. Third challenge, challenge of deepening. Yes, what does that mean? It means strengthening of democratic principles, strengthening of democratic institutions. Yes, how can we strengthen the democratic institutions? How can we strengthen democratic principles? When we check the influence of wealthy and powerful people in democratic decisions, then only it will be called as democratic decisions, democratic principles, because we will be looking at the interest of each and every single individual living in the country, okay, and then to empower the general section of people through democratic institutions. It means including more and more people in decision making. That is how we can strengthen our democracy. That is how we can deepen our democracy. And this challenge is being also faced by the very established established democracies in the world. Yes, still in our country, remember in the previous chapter we discussed, we have a large gap between rich and poor. Still we find, remember in the chapter political parties we discussed the role of money and muscle power. That is another challenge to political parties. So we need to reform it, we need to correct it to make a democratic more deepened, more strengthened. And that is why we discuss so many suggestions to keep money and muscle power out, to check the control of wealthy and powerful people in democratic decisions. So that is how these are the three major challenges being faced by the modern democracies all over the world. That is challenge of expansion, challenge of foundational challenge, challenge of expansion and deepening. You can see these pictures. Mubarak re-elected. You can see these cartoons. Person said Mubarak re-elected without even opening these ballot boxes. You can see the small caption written. Shall we open these ballot boxes? Without opening these ballot boxes, they declared the result. It means the government is non-democratic. So they face a challenge of foundational challenge. See the second picture, seeing the democracy, gun point. On the whole of this gun, they are looking to the democracy. It means that the military rule, whatever they are doing in the country is only with the help of military. So remember in the foundational challenge we have seen that how can we remove that challenge by keeping military away, but here we are looking that military is there. So how can we call that a democratic country? So they face a foundational challenge. Remember, next is about gender equality. Are we giving equal rights to everyone? I'll just show you one. The challenge of expansion, inclusion of women, I talked about it. So this particular picture talks about the challenge of expansion. When we are not giving equal rights to everyone, all the gender, it means that we are facing this challenge. Campaign money, yes, just now I told you about keeping the influence of wealthy and powerful people out from the democratic arena. Then only we can avoid the problem, then only we can strengthen our democratic system. But in this particular picture, we can see campaigning money. It means using money and muscle power to win the election. So that is how it depicts the challenge of deepening. So to strengthen our democracy, we need to control, we need to check the influence of money. Okay, so these four cartoons pictures shows different challenges being faced by modern democracies.
Now subscribe to Bright Tutee course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Tutee app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Tutee courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Tutee follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutee and avail your courses at affordable prices.